I'd like to welcome first, presenting on the Indigenous Prosperity Foundation, I'd like to welcome their chair, Bobbie Racette, everybody. Come on, let's welcome Bobbie. Welcome, Bobbie.
Hello. I'm used to sitting in the chairs for panels. I'm never ever used to sitting up here and standing by myself up here. So hopefully I don't mess it up. But Tanzi, I'm Bobbie, the chair of the Indigenous Prosperity Foundation. I'm excited to be here with all of you today, and all of us in this room coming together to advance Indigenous prosperity. First, I would like to start by thanking NACCA for hosting this event and extend thanks to the Indigenous Services Canada for your strong support of the Indigenous Prosperity Foundation. So, I'm Bobbie Racette. I'm a Cree Métis entrepreneur, originally from Treaty 4 territory, but I currently reside in Treaty 7. I am the CEO of a company called Virtual Gurus that I created 6 years ago, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. And as I said, I'm the current inaugural chair of the Indigenous Prosperity Foundation. Today I'm excited to reintroduce the Indigenous Prosperity Foundation, reflect on our strides over the past year, and make a very special announcement to all of you. The Indigenous Prosperity Foundation is an independent charity created by NACCA, with the support of Indigenous financial institutions, with the goal building a thriving and inclusive Indigenous economy grounded in Indigenous values. IPF's mission is to ensure that every Indigenous person in Canada has the support and resources to fulfill their potential and uplift others. We aim to achieve this by bringing together donors, funders, and granting organizations to partner with IFIs and ecosystem partners across Canada to provide training, mentorship, digital access, and funding for Indigenous youth, women, and underserved Indigenous entrepreneurs. Over the past year, Indigenous Prosperity Foundation has made significant strides. In government strategy, operational establishment, here are some of our key updates. We have successfully installed governments, structures, and elected our esteemed board of directors, comprising leaders from diverse backgrounds committed to driving social impact, economic empowerment within Indigenous communities. My board colleagues are Jennifer Sloan, MasterCard Canada's Senior Vice President of Public Policy and Stakeholder Engagement, Sharon Red Sky, a Shoal Lake 40 First Nation member and the principal of Red Sky Fundraising, Abdullah Snowbar, the Executive Director of DMZ and CEO of DMZ Ventures. And of course, Keith Matthew, the CEO of SECLEP Business Services and Board Director at NACCA. Earlier this year, IPF launched the Walk Together initiative to engage Indigenous entrepreneurs, communities, and IFIs to understand the needs to better refine our strategies, foster partnerships, and shape impactful programming. To date, we have visited Kitigan Zibi First Nation, Siksika First Nation, and Member 2 First Nation. This tour will continue throughout the spring with visits to Métis and Inuit communities across Turtle Island. The result will be a summary report that will be pivotal in shaping our 5-year strategy. Over the past months, we have established IPF's legal, financial, and administrative foundations. We are in the process of filling the role of our inaugural executive director. In my view, this charitable organization represents the most compelling and impactful instrument for advancing Indigenous prosperity. My journey as a founder and CEO of Virtual Gurus has provided me firsthand insights and the challenges faced to marginalized communities in businesses and society. 6 years ago, I set out to start Virtual Gurus, and the reason I started it was because nobody would give me a job. Everybody looked down at me as a queer woman, LGBT, as somebody that's Indigenous woman, tattoos everywhere, and nobody would hire me. So I set out to create a company to create my own job. I didn't know at the time that Virtual Gurus would now explode to what it was, but what I did know was I didn't have the support. I didn't have people to support me through the whole process. In year 1, we made $265,000 in revenue with just me as the employee. Thank you. In year 2, 750, and year 3, 1.8 million in revenue. And so I needed to set out to raise money. I needed to raise for my company because we leverage artificial intelligence to match underserved talent with businesses and entrepreneurs. But nobody would give me money. 170 investors said no to me. But now, I've recently just closed my Series B, leading me to be the first Indigenous woman in Canada to close the Series A funding round. So I'm excited to announce that the MasterCard Foundation has become the first major multi-year funder of the Indigenous Prosperity Foundation. So join me in welcoming Jennifer Brennan to the stage. Thanks, Jennifer.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that warm welcome. Just want to begin by acknowledging the drum and the elder that started off things in such a good way. And it's been such an interesting day with so many great presentations. I want to thank Bobbie for that introduction. And we're really honored to be here to speak about this important new partnership. For those of you who may not know about the MasterCard Foundation, let me just say a few brief words of background. MasterCard Foundation was established by MasterCard Incorporated, the global payments and finance company, in 2006. Now, the important thing to note, though, that at that time, there was something pretty unique that was done by MasterCard Incorporated, is that they established a foundation that would be fully independent, with our own board of directors and our own governance. So the foundation was established then with a vision and a global board of directors, and a vision that everyone deserves the opportunity to learn and to prosper. The board and leadership decided very early on to focus on the continent of Africa because it's home to the youngest and fastest growing population in the world. Now, all of us know in this room that in Canada, the youngest, fastest growing population are within Indigenous communities and Indigenous youth. The foundation recognized that as a Canadian-based foundation, that it too had a role and a responsibility to play in reconciliation. So this really began the thinking and the early thoughts behind a program in Canada. The program is called LAV, and LAV was co-created with Indigenous youth and communities. And the vision is to support Indigenous young people through education and onto meaningful livelihoods. The vision is inspired and informed by the Anishinaabe concept of Minabimadzwin, a good life. It's this holistic view of a meaningful life, a fulfilling life based on your culture, your values, your beliefs, and aspirations. Now, a meaningful livelihood will mean different things to different people, but we've heard clearly and consistently from Indigenous youth that entrepreneurship is a path to a meaningful livelihood. And I just think we've heard that resoundingly here today. It allows them to pursue their dreams and their visions. It allows them to chart their own course forward to success as they define it. It allows them to create opportunities for their peers, and it creates ripple effects that improve the social and economic conditions right in their communities. That's why we're so proud and excited to be here today to announce this new partnership with NACCA's Indigenous Prosperity Foundation. The IPF will create a dynamic ecosystem equipping Indigenous youth with the skills, resources, and networks to thrive as entrepreneurs. The MasterCard Foundation and the Indigenous Prosperity Foundation share a goal to build sustainable youth entrepreneurship programming which educates, empowers, and builds the confidence of Indigenous youth in Canada. From skills and microgrants to ongoing mentorship and support, things that we've heard about on the stage here today that are so critical to the success, we will see over 1,000 Indigenous youth be supported to succeed as entrepreneurs through this partnership over the next 5 years. This collaboration will cultivate a dynamic ecosystem that equips youth with the skills, networks needed to needed to thrive. The vision is a future state where Indigenous youth across Canada have limitless opportunities to unlock their entrepreneurial potential and contribute meaningfully to their communities. One of our overarching goals as the MasterCard Foundation is to help fundamentally transform systems of education and employment so that they support success for Indigenous youth. We know that's how we can achieve the greatest impact for Indigenous youth beyond those directly involved in the partnerships. And it's clear that any such systems change must be led by and for Indigenous youth and Indigenous organizations at every step of the way. We look to partners that are implementing new and innovative approaches that demonstrate new ways to break through long-standing barriers and support success for Indigenous young people. And NACCA's new Indigenous Prosperity Foundation is an ideal fit. It's a vision, it's a plan, and it's a path to positive change. It's early days as we start our journey together, but we're committed to working together in co-creation. We extend our congratulations to NACCA and the launch of this incredible new organization with such a bright future. We're truly honored to be part of the journey. It's energizing to think about our destination, a future where over 1,000 young people, young Indigenous entrepreneurs, are building strong businesses, strong Indigenous communities and nations, and ultimately a stronger country for everyone. So with that, I just want to wish the Indigenous Prosperity Foundation all the very best. We are, as I've said, we are honored to accompany them in this work, and we offer our thanks and miigwech. Thank you so much.